Chi-X is an exchange system, a group of companies we're out growing globally. And right now we operate an exchange in Canada and an exchange that's affiliated with us in Europe. The European exchange has 104 members and right now represents about 25% of trading in the FTSE 100. If you look at that, and our overall market share in Europe is about 15%. So Chi-X is now the third largest alternative exchange, or third largest exchange itself in Europe, and only been in business for really 2 years. The alternative exchange movement started in the U.S. And frankly has gone on for a long period of over a decade. The kind of liquidity that moved onto alternative exchanges over a decade took 1 year in Europe after MiFID started. So I think the investment community has gotten very used to new facilities coming in, and that time horizon is shortened there. I can't really prognosticate how quickly things will move in Asia, but we intend to open over the next few years a number of exchanges around Asia, and we believe that most large investment banks are very aware of the type of products we offer and will be ready to accept us. I think that the creation of an exchange can fall anywhere, but it's really the real status of the exchange as a neutral party. So I think an exchange with a single owner is a very difficult process if that single owner is just an investment bank or just a large asset manager, because really it's feeding the aspirations of that bank or that asset manager versus being a neutral utility that's for the whole marketplace. Chi-X, by the time we roll out in Asia, will have a multiple ownership base and thus be a neutral facility. First, our relationship with the SGX is very good. We sat down with them and talked about some things that we could do together. And it became very clear that their aspirations about building a so-called dark pool and our aspirations were very similar. And we thought it didn't make any sense for us to compete against each other and do this. We're probably better off doing it together. We want a set of relationships with the exchanges in Asia that are complementary. There may be places that we that we compete against each other, but the reality is that there are places we have to work together. Probably the most critical thing that we have to work together is in the clearing infrastructure. So yes, we have an exchange that trades, but by and large the actual clearing is done by the exchanges as part of their vertical silo, and we need to be able to hook into that. Now that's happened in Japan, where JSCC, which is 83% owned by the Tokyo Stock Exchange, has agreed to clear trades for PTS or the alternative movement in Japan. So we would fully expect, as we move ahead in Japan, if we move ahead in Japan, that we would be able to use that facility. In the case of the clearing relationships, we just become another customer of theirs. In fact, actually, it's a revenue increase for the exchanges because they get a new customer coming in and doing that. In the case of product stuff with SGX, it's a partnership. It's a 50-50 joint venture, and we own it together. The most important value proposition that we provide is really understanding the types of transactions that each exchange will undertake. So fundamentally, what we're building in Singapore with Chi-East is a non-displayed liquidity pool, or a so-called dark pool, and that is designed to manage very large orders. and be a place where asset managers can very confidently place large orders because they know that those orders will be anonymous and there will not be any trading against those orders. In the other case, in the case of Australia, we'll be running a traditional lit pool that will be competing directly, in this case, with the Australian exchange. And of course that will be designed more to manage the type of high frequency flow and other flow that is available in the lit space. What the brokers want is they want an exchange that converses with them, that partners with them, that understands the variety of trading strategies that it has, and consults them as they build products. And so, I think we have a very vigorous process of working with our trading members and owners and making sure as we roll out products that those products make sense to them, that there will be a high degree of usage among that community. And so we have a very, very high degree of client contact around that sort of process. Traditional exchanges have not really consulted the trading community as they build products. That is changing because the alternative exchanges are so client-focused that the traditional old exchanges are having to change the kind of methods that they've used.